Fates Warning is an American progressive metal band, formed in 1982 by vocalist John Arch, guitarists Jim Matheos and Victor Arduini, bassist Joe DiBiase, and drummer Steve Zimmerman in Hartford, Connecticut. Their early work was heavily influenced by NWOBHM, and was key in the development of U.S. power metal. With each work the band developed into a pure progressive metal style. Fates Warning has experienced numerous lineup changes. From 1982 to 1996 and temporarily in 2010 Matheos and DiBiase were the only remaining original members of the band, with Matheos being the only constant member. Their current lineup consists of guitarists Jim Matheos and Aresti, vocalist Ray Alder, bassist Joey Vera, and drummer Bobby Jarzombek. As a pioneer of the American progressive metal movement, Fates Warning rose to international fame in the 1980s and was ranked as one of the early flagship bands of progressive metal along with Queensrÿche and Dream Theater, who were responsible for creating, developing and popularizing that genre. Fates Warning has released 11 studio albums, 2 live albums, 1 compilation album, 1 VHS, 3 DVDs and 4 demo tapes. The band experienced major American commercial success with the 1986 release of their third studio album, Awaken the Guardian, which peaked at number 191 on the Billboard 200, and became the first album released on Metal Blade to enter that chart. Their next 3 albums, No Exit, Perfect Symmetry and Parallels, were also successful. The first 2 peaked at number 111 and number 141 on the Billboard 200 respectively. Fates Warning's most recent studio album, Darkness in a Different Light, was released in 2013. History Early career and first 3 albums. The first album, Night on Bra Paragraph CKEN, was released in 1984, on the Metal Blade label, mainly influenced by Iron Maiden and other heavy metal bands. In songs like the title track, and particularly Damnation, there are some prog aspects that will be developed in the next albums. The Spectre Within, which was released in 1985, featured a more progressive approach in compositions like The Apparition, Epitaph, Pirates of the Underground, and Traveler in Time. In 1986, original guitarist Victor Arduini left the band and was replaced by Aresti. The third album, Awaken the Guardian, was released in that year, moving towards a more mythical atmosphere and a fully progressive approach towards song form, full of complex riffs and numerous tempo changes, while maintaining a power-heavy sound. Lineup changes and rise to near fame. In 1987, original vocalist John Arch left the band, prior to the start of work on the band's next album. Ray Alder joined the band in 1988. That year, the first album with Alder, No Exit, was released. Further develops the route taken by the third album with a more powerful sound, but setting aside the fantasy themes and atmospheres. It features the first prog metal suite of the genre, the Ivory Gate of Dreams, excluding those of Rush. Continuing the pattern of lineup changes, original drummer Steve Zimmerman left the band in 1988, and was replaced by Mark Zunder in 1989. Perfect Symmetry was released in the same year. The album abandons the powerful sound of No Exit to a very melodic one with a melancholic atmosphere, increasing, at the same time, the rhythmic complexity of the songs. Kevin Moore was featured as a guest on the song At Fate's Hands. 1991 saw the release of Parallels, which was distributed by Warner. New Dream Theater vocalist James Labrie made a guest appearance on the song Life in Still Water. Later years. After a 2.5-year breakup, the next album, 1994's Inside Out, continued in the general vein of the previous album while adding more melody to the songs. It has been stated various times from the band that they were confused while writing this album because of all the success and then the downfall of Parallels, which they say is the reason the album didn't do so well. It was followed by a 1995 compilation, Chasing Time, which included 2 previously unreleased songs. In 1996, both Joe DiBiase and Aresti left the group. The 3 remaining members Alder, Matheos and Zunder released A Pleasant Shade of Grey in 1997. The album also featured work from guest musicians Joey Vera on bass and Kevin Moore performing piano and keyboards. Written as a concept album, A Pleasant Shade of Grey revealed a much darker and bleaker mood in songwriting style than had been heard before from the band. The album consists of a single 53-minute song split into 12 parts. A live 2-CD set, Still Life, was released in 1998, containing A Pleasant Shade of Grey performed live in its entirety. Joey Vera, Bernie Versailles and Jason Chiazza accompanied the group on this album. A Japanese version included a Studio Scorpions cover, In Trance. In 2000, Moore and Vera again returned as guests to appear on the next album, Disconnected. In 2003, Frank Aresti was asked to fill in on a tour with Dream Theater and Queensrÿche, and subsequently rejoined the band. Their 10th studio recording FWX was released in 2004. Drummer Mark Zunder stated it would be his last album with the band, as he wished to pursue other interests, and left in 2005. Although an official member again, Frank Aresti did not appear because the writing had been completed and contracts had been signed already. Live in Athens, a concert DVD, was released in 2005. This DVD included guest drummer Nick Virgilio. In the liner notes to the 2005 expanded edition of the Awaken the Guardian album, Dream Theater drummer Mike Portnoy noted that, very often fans and critics credit Dream Theater for creating a whole new genre of progressive metal music in the late 80s early 90s, but the truth is Fate's Warning were doing it years before us. The band has recorded songs for various tribute albums, including Closer to the Heart on the 1996 Working Man Rush tribute, Saints in Hell on the 1997 Legends of Metal Judas Priest tribute, and Sign of the Southern Cross on the 2000 Holy Dio Ronnie James Dio tribute. Reunion with Parallels lineup and other projects. Fate's Warning played select dates with the Parallels lineup to celebrate the 2010 reissued, remastered and expanded edition of the classic album. At the beginning of 2011, an announcement was made that Matheos and original vocalist John Arch had formed a band called Arch/Matheos. Their debut album was released in the autumn of that year, also featuring Joey Vera on bass guitar, Bobby Jarzombek on drums and Frank Aresti on additional lead guitar. Darkness in a Different Light, reunion with Awaken the Guardian lineup and next album. After many delays, Fate's Warning released its 11th studio album Darkness in a Different Light on September 27, 2013. It is the band's first album since 2004's FWX. In March 2016 the Awaken the Guardian lineup will reunite for a European show to celebrate the album's 30th anniversary. In September 2016 the same lineup will headline the Progpoa USA Festival in Atlanta, Georgia. Fate's Warning will enter the studio in December 2015 to begin recording their 12th studio album, which is planned for release in early 2016. Discography. Studio albums. Night on Bra Paragraph CKEN, The Spectre Within, Awaken the Guardian, No Exit, Perfect Symmetry, Parallels, Inside Out, A Pleasant Shade of Grey, Disconnected, FWX, Darkness in a Different Light. Live albums. Still Life. Video albums. Live at the Dynamo, Live in Athens, A View from Here. Compilation albums. Chasing Time. Singles. Anarchy Divine, Silent Cries, Through Different Eyes, Point of View, Eye to Eye, We Only Say Goodbye, Pale Fire, Monument. A Pleasant Shade of Grey PT 2 inches, Simple Human, Firefly. Miscellaneous releases, Demo 1983, Misfit Demo, Demo 1984, Dicky Demo, Awaken the Guardian re-release, CD1, Awaken the Guardian remaster CD, CD2, Demos and Live CD, CD3, DVD December 28, 1986 at Sundance, Long Island, New York. Inside Out/Disconnected. Videography. Music videos. Kerry Listen, Anarchy Divine, Silent Cries, Through Different Eyes, Point of View, Eye to Eye, Monument, Simple Human, I Am, Firefly. DVDs and VHSs. A Pleasant Shade of Grey, Live at the Dynamo, The View from Here, Live in Athens. Band members: